a good New Year's, mate. Lucas says, Avi, do you think that the National Socialist Network movement is going to grow and get more popular in Australia, or will the movement die off and fade away in Australia? That's an interesting question. My prediction, unfortunately, I do believe that they're going to grow, and a big part of that, I believe, is the government's fault, because everything that they're doing everything that the government is doing in the name of protecting Jews and whatever, and even in response to Bondi, is being used as a recruitment tool by these guys effectively.
Yeah, I think so. I think there is hurdles though to. Yeah, I don't know. There are a few hurdles for groups like that, obviously, because on one hand, yes, the government kind of promotes them just by their stupidity. But at the same time, they go after them as well in insane ways that they don't go after these Islamic extremists, for instance. So if they want to organize politically, I think they're going to struggle with that. Again,
For now,
it just depends. It depends on the way that it's done, right? So they have these political ideas as well, some like White Australia Party and all these kind of things, right? So really, if you want to be effective, you have to sometimes play within the political system. And so far, they've been unwilling to even try to attempt to do that. So, and then they complain about it. So, it's just, I don't know if they're going to be as effective in that manner, but of course there's going to be people who feel disenfranchised in terms of what's happening.
But I think numbers wise,
gravitate.
I think in sheer numbers wise, they are going to grow. Just because,
yeah, they're going to grow in numbers because of people are they feel disenfranchised.
They're disenfranchised, and the government is making them. The government is making them cool. The government, by their behaviour, in the way that they're hunting them and putting everything that's not even related to them onto them, it is giving them this aura that that this kind of young generation really wants.
There is a bit of that, but I do think that's overplayed as well online. In the real world, it's
well, they've certainly like their numbers have certainly quadrupled in the last 3 years.
Yes, yeah, no,
so
definitely.
I believe there's nothing changing that trend for now.
No, I don't think there's nothing changing that trend for now. No.
My guy, thank you for the super chat, says everyone hates the neo-Nazis, but not everyone hates Antifa. Only the right hates Antifa. Is that true? And why does everyone not hate Antifa like the NSN? You're right. Absolutely. And they are very similar. What Rukshan was saying before, and people pointing out in the comments, that Joel Davis was Antifa, went over to the National Socialists, and it's like two sides of the same coin. The reason why I think it's because both sides condemn the Nazis always, but the left ignores Antifa.
And the average person doesn't really understand
what Antifa
is. That's the main thing that's happening here. Most people don't know what that is.
But
if you're not in the political sphere, they don't know. They don't know. They just see these people in black doing stuff.
But the left know what Antifa is. Like the left. So the Liberal Party, for example, will always condemn the Nazis straight away as soon as they pop, rear their heads up. They're condemned from obviously the left, and they use it as political to garner political points. And then the right, everybody, like the Liberal Party especially, will jump in on doing that as well. They follow their lead instead of taking the opportunity to do what the left does. So you know how the left always does this thing whenever there's an attack on Jews, for example? They have to go, anti-Semitism is horrific. No, they go, anti-Semitism and Islamophobia is horrific, even if it's a situation where Muslims were attacking Jews.
Yeah.
So there's this tactic that they use to redirect people's attention, to divert it to the issue that they want to talk about. And if the right were more clever, they would deploy the same trick when it comes to condemning. So it's fine, condemn the neo-Nazis. I'm not going to tell you not to condemn the neo-Nazis. But every time you condemn the neo-Nazis, use that as an opportunity to educate people on the fact that the left have their own Nazis.
Yeah, exactly. And this is, again, I think what you said, Avi, makes perfect sense. But, they both pretty much have extreme ideologies, right? Almost the same thing on different extremes. And we condemn just the one ideology because it's to do with Hitler, to do with Nazism. But other people are pretty much saying the same kind of things in a different way, right? And those sometimes those communist and socialist leaders that they carry around killed many more people than Hitler, right? And they love these communists and they carry those flags and the hammer and sickle, whatever, right? So we accept that as a political argument. But for Nazism, for instance, is not accepted in that same way. And politicians understand that for the general public as well, it's, again, an easier sell to say that, well, this is a bad thing, like Nazis are bad. Everyone knows Nazis are bad. That's really what's happening at the end of the day. It's just, again, the too hard basket. The lefties, it's too hard to explain those differences to the lefties about the lefties and Antifa. But with the Nazis, oh yeah, there's Hitler, he's evil, so everything evil. And that's kind of what's happening, in my opinion. What's happening?
I think the YouTube dropped. I don't know what's going on with
I think it dropped. My one dropped out as well, but it's back working.
So weird.
Just YouTube, weird issues. Maybe something's gone on with YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know. I think.
Do you want me to try to fix it quickly?
Is it on Restream?
Yeah, I'll just... Did you restart your one?
What? Restream?
No, just your YouTube? No.
No, how do you restart your YouTube?
Is it working now? Hey guys, welcome to 2026. The first technical issue.
It's so weird. It's been playing up tonight.
Yeah. Let me just pause you. I'll just pause your one and put it back up 1 second.
Wait, I'm watching it. It says sending
it's
data.
Working, yeah? Yeah.
I don't know.
But is actual YouTube working?
Doesn't look like it, but...
Stick with X. Avi's stream died the same time Rukshan's stream came back up. It's weird.
It's so weird.
1 second. Let me... It's going to turn your one off for a second and then bang on. It'll just start on a new one.
So annoying. Because I link it everywhere, so it's just like...
Yeah. Stuck with it. Stick with X. Alright, let's see now. We'll give it a minute.
Yeah. Guys, sorry about this. A bit of technical issues. That's not...
Yeah, you're back up. You're back up. You're back up.
But is it the same stream or is it a new stream?
I don't know.
What's that?
Let's have a look. It's a great start to the year. Someone's saying.
Oh no.
I think it made a new one.
Yeah, that's frustrating. Right.
No, it's the same one.
Is it?
No, it's a new one, bro.
Yeah, it is. It's
new one.
All right, let's
soldier on.
Let's soldier on. Let's smash out this. And now I've lost my mojo to do this, but it is what it is. Let's just keep it going. I want to finish on time today. Next story. This one is actually giving me hope for 2026.
At least 16 demonstrators have now been reported as killed by human rights groups or Iranian news outlets, and that's in demonstrations right across the country. And it appears from what we're seeing on social media and from those same human rights groups that these demonstrations have spread right out to provincial cities, and they continue, even though the security forces and the police in Iran are starting to crack down much, much harder than they did in the first days. The focus of the demonstrations also appears to have shifted. Initially, they were demands for economic relief. They occurred in response to the Iranian rial crashing to a record low against the US dollar, and they started in Tehran's bazaar, where merchants shut their shops. Now they're mainly composed of young people, and they're people calling for an end to Iran's religious dictatorship, to the theocratic regime known as the Islamic Republic. The Iranian government has accused Israel and the United States of inciting these protests, particularly after US President Donald Trump said Iran would be hit very hard if the government cracked down and killed protesters in the way it has during previous bouts of unrest.
With all our strength and every ounce of our being, we are monitoring the actions of opposing parties, and in defence of Iran's integrity, our armed forces will show no negligence or hesitation.
Israel's government has welcomed the protests. They say this is an opportunity for the Iranian people to get rid of the Islamic regime. And they have also said that Israel is prepared to attack Iran again, as it did in June when Israeli jets struck nuclear sites and ballistic missile sites and assassinated a number of senior Iranian military officials and nuclear scientists. The Iranian government says it's ready to repel those attacks and is going to deal with the unrest inside Iran.
Okay, there's a couple of things here. Look, that protest did feel different. I liked how ABC and a lot of the mainstream media was trying to portray it, especially in the beginning, as just economic protests. It may have started in the very beginning, the first little group were those merchants, but it was clear after a day, as they were spreading right across the country, that this was a protest against the Islamist regime of Iran, the people that they refer to as the occupying forces after their Islamic revolution. Is it going to go somewhere? It feels like it potentially can. I'm obviously hoping to God it does, but we've seen in Iran they've managed previously every single time to quash these protests, to stop them from actually overthrowing their government. The question is the government still that hurt from the 12-day war that they will potentially lose control here? And I'm sure Israel's got Mossad agents there, but whatever. Like, this has to come from the people. That's what really has to happen here, and we've been saying that since the 12-day war. I think that it's just a matter of time. I'm confident that this regime will fall. I don't know what your take is on it all.
Yeah, like I definitely agree with you that it's got to come from the people. I think the freedom of the Iranian people is in their own hands. Obviously, these things that happen, in the outside, can assist them. Like you said, the 12-day war, for instance, obviously that's weakened the leadership. A lot of people don't look at Iran in the same way that they used to before that war. They've been shown to be really a toothless tiger. Trump kind of talks down to them like he can just do whatever he wants there, and that's mostly true. We saw how ineffective they were. So when you see that foreign minister or whatever talking about what they can do, sure, I think the only thing they can probably do effectively is oppress their own people and kill their own people, and we're seeing that now on the streets of them shooting at their own citizens who are protesting. And the only reason that, when we hear about people who protest in the West, for instance, we don't normally associate it with live ammunition being shot at people because they're protesting around economic issues. So there's more to this than just that, where they have to start killing their own citizens, obviously. So, yeah, it's in their hands. It's unclear exactly how these things will go, Avi, but I feel like as those individuals, the Ayatollahs, they're becoming older in terms of their influence, and the younger generations want to be more included with the rest of the world and have a normal future. Because put everything aside, Avi, that country economically is a dump. It doesn't look as bad as some other third world nations, but in terms of, if you look at the economy, it is kind of like a third world economy in many respects. Like, there's no prospects for a lot of people. The value of their currency is like crap.
Well, that's when people that's generally historically when people rise up, when it
exactly
hits their button.
It hits them, and you just need a bit of a movement. You've seen it we've seen it in places that you might have thought it might not happen either, right? And not even repressive places like Iran. So it can happen. It's just the apparatus. I think the apparatus that they have there, the regime, is so ingrained within the fabric of society. There's so many people involved in oppressing their fellow Iranians that it's hard to just undo that.
Isn't it funny how leftists are just completely quiet on this issue?
They're quiet on it. They're not out there on the street supporting them. They're not talking about it. They're not protesting against the fact that the Iranian government are killing their own citizens right now. Nothing.
No.
Nothing. They don't care.
And if you say something, they're like, "Oh, how many people has Israel killed?" They tie everything to Israel. It's like they can do no wrong if it suits their narrative. So they're just.
I'm waiting for the day when the people of Iran are free, and those people that live there without the oppressive regime, without their guns pointed at them, can freely talk about how oppressed they have been for all these years.
And tell the story.
And tell the story about these leftists.
Tell the story about because for them it's very personal. It was actually the left that, helped the Islamists in the revolution, and then once the Islamists got into power, they killed off all the useful idiots. It's exactly what we're seeing play out in Australia right now. And that goes on to the next story, the whole Venezuela story, the fact that we saw what happened. Trump, that's how we briefly touched on it in the beginning of the show, is, Trump's operation, epic precision strike, like in the dead of night, just hardly any collateral damage, manages to essentially, if you ask them, kidnap the president of Venezuela and take him to America, him and his wife, for court, to put him in front of a court. I know in the beginning they were speculating where's he going to take him, because they didn't think that Trump would want to bring him to an American court in case he lost. He brought him to New York, of all places, to Mamdani, to another communist leader's state, and now he's standing trial there. But the crazy thing to me is watching again the left in Melbourne, in Brisbane, in Sydney, across the country, around the West, rallying in support of the dictator against America, whilst in Venezuela people are cautiously celebrating the fact that they may have freedom, that the fall of the dictator, the most oppressive leader that they've experienced, that's been the reason for so much suffering in their country. And again, the left, like with Iran, just on the wrong side of history because it doesn't suit their narrative.
Yeah. I mean, these are the same people that support Hamas terrorists. They see nothing wrong with what Hamas did on October 7th, for instance. So, of course, it's natural for themselves to now align with someone like Maduro, even against the Venezuelan people themselves, which is just insane, obviously. And beyond just the left-wing activists being hypocritical, Avi, during the Biden administration, if you look at the history on this, the bounty that was put on Maduro as a criminal, right? So these indictments that were brought against him, and I saw that the politician in America, what's his name, the guy that wears shorts at the top in Pennsylvania, Fetterman, he's a Democrat, and he was saying, like, so why did we put this bounty on him? Why was there an indictment for him? Why was there a $50 million reward if the aim of that was not to arrest him and grab him because he's a wanted criminal?
I love all the people talking about it being illegal. You guys don't care about the law. Shut up.
The Maduro himself doesn't care about legality because he's technically
he's an illegal president.
It's a stolen election. Obviously, we got the left technically would be celebrating a Nobel Prize winner like the lady that's in exile who won the elections, I think by 70% to 30%. Like it was a crazy blowout towards her. He didn't recognize the election, so he's not a legitimate president. But beyond all of that, the Americans had a warrant out for this criminal that they're saying is a criminal. So if we just look at it from the American perspective, why wouldn't they nab him and grab him? And of course we have the dynamics of Donald Trump and Maduro as well, who's a bit of a smart ass himself, telling Trump to come get him, making funny, not memes, but you know what I mean? He's mocking the whole thing. And then you have the juxtaposition now of those two things, where Maduro's like, yeah, come get me if you can. And then Trump's just gone there with a few helicopters, Delta team, and taken him out. And it's just insane that, like, this is kind of like a Netflix special, Avi, that we got to see in the real time. Without even having to watch Netflix. Like, it was that insane watching that thing unfold.
It was amazing.
The abducted Venezuelan president Nicolas Maduro has fronted a New York court for the first time since his shock capture by US forces, declaring himself a prisoner of war. Gunfire has been heard in Venezuela itself as the Trump administration justified the military operation today as not war, just law enforcement. A US correspondent, Catherine Firkin, has the latest.
It was a dramatic arrival at court for Nicolas Maduro, a chopper ride, then a short hop in an armoured truck to the federal courthouse. Inside court, Maduro was defiant, insisting he's a decent man, is innocent of all charges, and is still the legal president of Venezuela. He also said he was kidnapped by US forces and described himself as a prisoner of war. Both he and his wife, Celia Flores, pleaded not guilty to narco-terrorism, drugs and weapons charges.
There is no war against Venezuela or its people. We are not occupying a country.
Only 5 kilometres away, the US ambassador to the United Nations attempted to justify the shock raid to a sceptical Security Council.
I am deeply concerned about the possible intensification, the instability in the country.
Those fears appear well-founded, with gunfire breaking out in Venezuela's capital, Caracas, sparking fears of a potential coup. A massive challenge for interim President Delcy Rodriguez, the Maduro ally officially sworn in today.
Ver a Venezuela en el destino que le corresponde.
Calls for unity were also largely ignored on Capitol Hill. An evening briefing for senior lawmakers failed to bring a divided Congress together.
This briefing, while very extensive and long, posed far more questions than it ever answered. Their plan for the U.S. running Venezuela is vague, based on wishful thinking, and unsatisfying.
While President Trump insists that the US is not breaking international law, the feeling on the ground here is utterly divided. 33% of Americans approve of the military action in Venezuela, 34% disapprove, and the remaining third haven't yet made up their minds. For now, President Trump and his team remain defiant as Maduro and his wife remain behind bars.
I'm not concerned about anything.
They'll return to court in March with both sides having waived their right to a speedy trial. Proceedings are expected to take years. In the United States, Catherine Firkin.
That's a great report. I mean, there's obviously, you get that bias in there as well.
Oh,
But
it's a 100% bias.
Or laughable, because this whole notion of international law, and I look, I understand the arguments around international law, and you've seen all the European leaders, like even Nigel Farage, I think he went on there and said, oh, something, but the international law.
We want to respect international law.
Yeah, so all this kind of international law. Do you really think that the thing that's stopping countries like China and Russia from doing the things that they want to do is international law? No, obviously it's not international law that's stopping them, right? It's the fact that we have countries like America and a Western aligned superpower that does have bigger guns. They are now a bully as well, right? You have to kind of be a bully in that part of the world. Unfortunately, like with some of these Latin American countries, they've been getting away with it for a long time. They've been sending drugs. They've been sending, refugees across. They've been sending criminals.
The people screaming international law in the international bodies are the biggest breakers of the so-called international laws. Give me a bloody break.
They pick and choose, right? These places like the UN, these organizations have weakened the West by this whole illusion of international law and this rules-based order that they talk about. At the end of it, when you look at the UN, you have countries that have veto power. I think 5 member nations like America, Russia, China, the UK, and I think France, right? Just those countries have this veto power thing, all right? So it's not really like, it's nothing about the way the world is set up is really fair in that sense.
Yeah.
Right? There are these big players, and America is exerting their influence now, what they're saying very openly in that hemisphere, their hemisphere. They don't want Chinese influence coming there. They don't want Russian influence coming there and doing crap with Venezuelan dictators that aren't elected. right? This drug dealer, potentially this criminal president. So they'll go nab him and they'll do it. And then what? Who's going to stop him? What's going to stop him? No one is going to stop him. No one is going to do it. Like, all of it's just bluster. Trump knew what he was doing. He picked him up, took him to the court. Now they're going to play the process is going to play out in a court of law, at least, right? That is the great thing about the West. He's not just been shot in some corner somewhere. He's been taken to a court. They got the lawyer representing him, who represented, I think, Julian Assange. And there's people in America who are fighting for Maduro. Like, that is kind of a part of the Western
There's people
philosophy,
here.
right?
Look at all the protests. It's like most of them handed in their Palestinian flag, but some of them still bought it to these protests, or their kafirs. There's a video here. I don't know if you saw this. I think this is from Melbourne, because you'll recognize most of the people that went there to support Maduro against Trump were these Palestinian protesters. Now they just got themselves new flags, but some of them still wearing kafirs. Watch what they do to like an Aussie.
What is your name?
They're screaming at him, white trash. And this is one of the most famous Palestinian protesters. He's actually got the Palestinian flag in his hand. But you see all of them, they got like their new Venezuelan colors on there. It's like, it's just the new thing. And they don't understand anything of what's behind it. All they do. They're communists. And the thing is that none of them care about international law. None of them care about free Palestine, free Venezuela, freedom. They don't care about that. It's about tearing down our Western liberal democracy. And I made a video on that yesterday.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what this is. And people need to wake up and realize that it's the same people that protest on Australia Day for so-called Invasion Day. It's the same. It's the one theme. And they jump on every latest thing and get the new... they trade in their Palestinian or their Aboriginal flag for today, the Venezuelan flag. Whilst in this case, the contrast was so clear, where on one hand, Venezuelans all around the world, including in Venezuela, were rallying in happiness that maybe they're going to get a chance now. Maybe America's going to actually make something of their oil fields and give that country a chance to actually thrive, where they've had to escape around the world. But you have these loony lefties teaming up with the Islamo-fascists for this combined, united front, really just against the West. They hate us, all of us.
Yes. But they have things like, they're trying to take the oil. They're trying to take the Venezuelans' oil. That's their oil. And I saw this great video yesterday, Avi, a Venezuelan man. I don't know where he was, but he was being interviewed. And he was like, you saw that, yeah? And he's like,
what do you think Russia and China's here?
Yeah, for the arepas or whatever, right? For the food. They're there for the oil as well. Like, you have to, as a superpower like America is, they do have to, bully a few people, exert some influence, and, make their country greater, obviously. But by being in the Anglosphere, being a part of the West, we also benefit from that as well. Like, we want to have security as well around the world. You don't want to have people destabilizing our nation. Like, would we like it, for instance? Would we like it if China started encroaching? Well, they have ports in Australia, I believe, at one point, right? But would we like it if China started, building a massive naval presence in Indonesia, for instance? No, we wouldn't like that. We wouldn't like those things in our national security and our national interests. Right? We wouldn't have the teeth to do anything about it, but America can. They can do things. And that is why Trump said, I'm going to do this. And that's been planned for a long time. They've been watching the Maduro. I believe they sent some CIA op previously, and he's been tracked. They knew exactly where he was. They followed his movement for weeks, I believe, and they knew exactly how to get him at what time, whenever they wanted to. Like, that was how easy it was for them.
It was amazing.
So, and they could do it, and they did it. And, luckily, there was no harm to any U.S. soldiers or their equipment, because obviously that would have changed. I think that would have changed perhaps some of the debate that's happening in America right now. But Trump has executed it in this instance compared to the failures of the past of the U.S. administration when it comes to military operations. This operation has been textbook,
executed perfectly, and it's important for people to understand that what makes Trump so good is that he's willing to take the bet, and he executed it perfectly. But that was a punt. Like, if that did not end well, that's it. Trump would have been done, because they're waiting. Like, even now, when he successfully executed it, they're still pouncing on him. Imagine he failed. Imagine one U.S. soldier was killed.
Yeah.
Imagine there was some sort of catastrophe from this, which it could have easily turned bad. But he had the balls to do it. He had the balls to hit the go button, and they were also that prepared. It just shows that America is so back now.
Yeah, and this wasn't a strike with like missiles from far away.
No, they went in.
Like, they went in helicopters, low flying. So they had air superiority, obviously, and they also had they took those massive risks. But they must be using some type of new equipment or something. I don't know. But they seem to be able to disable everything, shoot everything down, and just, in and out, take the president of a country like Venezuela. It's still a large country, large nation with. I don't even trust their military anymore. I think maybe they're pretty incompetent. But they managed to do.
There was a guy. Whoever's saying there was no air defense, there was air defense, because one of their helicopters did get hit. But it was okay.
I'm saying, like, they managed.
I'm not saying you. I'm
talking about.
I'm just saying in the comments.
Okay, yeah. And someone was saying in the comments, like, should we take back Papua New Guinea or something like this? Look, if China started building some bases there and sent a whole bunch of military there, we should invade Papua New Guinea and reclaim that area and protect it for our national security's interests. Yeah, for sure.
You know why the left hate it so much you know why the left hate it so much? In addition to the fact that it's just a commie or whatever, because this does make Trump out to be not just a mad dog, but a boss.
Yeah.
A person that not only is he unpredictable, but he's not just talking nonsense. He's not.
Yeah.
Maduro tried to bluff him, but basically go. He did not believe. He was trying to call Trump's bluff, and Trump turned around and goes, "Okay." And he ended up executing it, which means now that all those leaders around the world, the Iranians are looking at it, the Cubans are looking, everybody's looking at it going, holy crap, like, Trump.
He will do it.
If it's not just a war of words on X or Truth Social. Like, when he says his stuff, maybe it is just words, but maybe it isn't. And not maybe it isn't because I think Trump is crazy enough just to do it. It's maybe it isn't. So Trump's tough enough to actually do it, and he's going to make sure they succeed in doing it, because I feel like half the fact that it was done so well, executed so perfectly with such minimal forces, putting minimal American assets at risk at the time, would have been Trump's drive. He's like, I want this has to succeed, and it has to succeed without looking like this full-on invasion. And remember, like I said in the beginning, is that last time America did something like that in that part of the world, or even anywhere, is 40 years ago. And it was like a full-blown invasion to get it done.
Yeah. And it's been done very differently as well. People talk about regime change and all these kind of things. No, they took the guy, they're taking him to
well, it's
court.
The same regime
still. A trial. The same regimes there. It's up to them what they want to do. Trump's also come out on the record and said, even for that lady that won the Nobel Peace Prize, he's not really sure if she's got the support anymore. So, like, it's not being done in that way. Trump has been very smart about the way that it's all been, done at the moment, for sure. And like you said, there is an element of unpredictability with Trump, but the left don't want him to.
The left don't want him to succeed. So for them, the reason why they're going so hard is because this is the worst thing for them, and I think this is great for Trump's legacy.
Yeah, and again, like you said, he puts all the other leaders on notice, and he lets them know that he means business. He's talking about taking Greenland now. He's telling that Greenland should be with the Americans, and again, like people are crying about it and arguing about it. But I just wanted to make the point that the Danish, it's an imperial project in Greenland because there are indigenous peoples around there. So, but the left have no problem with that imperialism when it comes to this issue, right? So there's all these hypocrisies. I think Trump has been an effective, great military leader so far. There has been no new wars, really. People say, he's done all these kind of things. Striking Iran and blowing up their nuclear facilities or bombing a few sites in Venezuela to take their president without. That's not a war. A war is when there's two sides fighting each other. We haven't seen that happen. We've seen the Americans use their power, their military might, to not have wars.
Peace
to end
through
wars.
strength. He's said it in his
strength.
campaign. He campaigned on all these things, and he's actually just doing what he said. Trump derangement syndrome is real, just like Israel derangement syndrome. And often they cross over now. Like, it's crazy to see after this happened. We were joking about who's going to blame the Jews, and lo and behold, Candace Owens within half an hour is somehow weirdly tying it to Jews. Guys, God bless Trump. God bless America. Keep winning and keep fighting and keep smashing these commie dictators and these Islamo-fascists, because I think the next 3 years, while we have Trump, we need to use him so that, whatever happens in 2028, that the leaders of the free world are not in a position where they're capitulating to these people, but coming from a place of dominance. Because I don't think that, Trump is a once-in-a-lifetime leader. I don't think that whoever was coming next would have the fortitude, the backbone, the guts, and the ability to pull off something like this. And this is just one example, and he runs another example. And we're seeing this theme with Trump, and he's coming out of nowhere and pulling off these strategically amazing things, like even the Gaza thing that he pulled. Like, he's just pulling these things off that no one else could do, which will set us up for a 2028 that who knows what's going to happen. But, we'll even if the Democrats come in, a Democrat coming in a position where America is actually feared and fierce, the decisions that they're going to make is not going to be as silly as a weak America, because a weak America is going to be an America that capitulates to everything, and leftists capitulating to the Islamic world, to Russia, to the communists all around the world is going to put us all at risk. To China. Like, these are real threats that you think we're safe here in Australia from. We are bloody not. From none of them. Almost none of them.
100%.
But let's read these super chats. Also, we have these bloody presents that Benji has. You have yours out. I've got to go get mine. All right, so we've got to open these on stream. Benji's. I'm scared to see what's in it, because
it's like it's written by a serial killer. That's what I was telling Shani, that
it's blurred.
Like the text that's on here, like there's instructions. It's like a ransom note.
Let's read these super chats. Let's quickly smash through these super chats, and then we'll open Benji's present before we wrap up tonight. Let's go. Did we do that one? No, we did do that one. Thank you, my guy. Thank you for the super chat. These are probably from the old stream. Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened here tonight. These technical issues really pissed me off. The real Eric Alistair. Thank you for the super chat. It says, good to see the opposition podcast back for 2026. It amazes me how anyone can tolerate Albo enforcing gun laws and hate speech, but not the criminals and terrorists 100%. And thank you for that super chat. I'll take it as a comment because you're kind of agreeing with what we were saying before. Let's pull these up a bit bigger. Cruel Intentions says, g'day ladies and pervs. I reckon us Royal Commission should not just focus on anti-Semitism. It needs to be the rise of antisocial and violence that the Gov has enabled in our country, including immigration policies. I would like to see a broad thing, and I think Rukshan, unfortunately, might be right. I think we are going to get the Royal Commission. I think he's being forced into that position, but I think that he's working out the terms of reference that he could deal with.
Yes. Yeah. Because then he can just be like, oh, well, we had the Royal Commission.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Look, guys, I know that I'm saying that I think it's going to be happening, and I think it's going to be happening because of everybody at home, Australians, that are standing up and demanding it. So keep that pressure on. Don't kind of get complacent because I think we're going to be successful. And keep speaking out about it. Keep, posting and encouraging people to advocating for it. But I also do think that we need to work into that the terms of reference to ensure that it is broader than what Albo wants to focus on. Baz the Dark Horse, g'day mate, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, lads. The only person worse than Something Wong and Abby is Albo. We'll take that as a rude comment, but good to see you in 2026, Baz the Dark Horse. Then we have Mitch Raps 6373. Thank you for the super chat. Says, Avi, do you think the economic pressures Australians are facing is contributing to the anti-Semitism in the country? 110%. I think historically, when the rise of anti-Semitism has often been connected with the economic pressures in society. People are looking for a scapegoat, and it is quite easy because others with agendas, whether they are, in this case, Islamic extremists, Islamofascists, with their new communist and socialist allies, they are both pointing to the Jews, and it's always kind of been like that. So yes, I do agree that is a contributing factor to it. Do you think?
No, I think so. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a contributing factor. I also think that the demographics in Australia and the fact that
exactly.
The fact that certain
I think it's a perfect storm at the moment.
Yeah, it's a perfect storm because you're not seeing this across the world. Really, you do see anti-Semitism kind of everywhere post October 7th, but not to the extent we've seen. In
Australia is one of the worst.
It's been very unique. Yeah, so there is more to it than just the economics.
Adrian, thank you for the super chat. Says the fact that Candace Owens is blaming the Jews for the kidnapping in Venezuela is so stupid. Like, is she actually brain dead and that dumb? I honestly, I don't think she believes half. Or maybe I can't tell. I can't tell anymore. Do you think she's that crazy, or do you think? What do you think? Like, I don't know anymore. I used to think she was just being manipulative, but I think she's maybe self-radicalized to the point where she's insane.
Yeah, she's kind of gone all in on her radicalization, unfortunately. Like, before it was kind of like, could you walk her off a ledge in terms of walking away from that? But it's like she's kind of jumped now. And she's
like everything with the Charlie Kirk stuff and...
Yeah, and you're seeing all these massive fractures. I mean, people might not see it if they're not following the space closely, but you're seeing massive fractures between even her own fan base and her now, and people that were major supporters of her now turning on her. And obviously a lot of people now just completely dismissing her. We're talking like when you get to a point, Avi, when you got Alex Jones, fully engaged in some sort of argument with you in that space, and Alex Jones is pretty much her in a male version, but he doesn't. He's not that crazy. So that's what we're dealing with. I don't know what to make of it, but that's where we're at.
Yep, we are definitely there. So thank you again for the super chat. What do we are? Equity says, Happy New Year's, boys. Midnight Hammer was great, but our Absolute Resolve was better. Can't wait for part 3. Pew, pew.
Awesome, yeah. Midnight Hammer was good. I like the names. What was that? Absolute Resolve. Great names.
Lucas, thank you for the super chat. Says, on the March of Australia, it's crazy how many fights the NSN got into, first with Antifa on the way to the march, then with Daniel, then with others at the march, then finally with Camp Sovereignty. Look, they, like Antifa, were out that day looking for trouble, looking for that confrontation, wanting to fight. Exactly like we've been saying, like Antifa.
But unlike Antifa, they were made an example of.
Yes.
Which is the realization I think that they've kind of going through because they are being locked up here and there. They will continue to be made examples of, unfortunately, in the sense that I'm saying unfortunately in the sense that it's not equally distributed.
It should be equally distributed.
Both sides.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Peter says, did you watch Thomas Sewell on podcast with Jake Shields and Dan Bilzerian? I had no idea that Thomas was that popular that Dan would know him. Look, I don't think he probably really knows him. They caught up. Oh, this is my neo-Nazi friend from Australia. These guys... The thing is, at that level of neo-Nazism, there's not that many, and they have to kind of support each other. There's like a bot army of them. So online but when you come to like the people that are actually putting their faces to it and that are high profile, there's not that many of them. So they know each other and they encourage and support each other and give each other, credibility online.
That's what it is.
Curious just gave us Curious Diaries. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the support. And Mez, thank you for the super chat. Says people need to educate themselves about Islam, the biggest threat to the West now. But governments have obviously signed off, and the West is being destroyed. I think we need to be able to have a honest conversation about ideas that we are importing. And I'm going to say it again, and it's annoying that you always have to say it, because I think it should come without, it should just be obvious that obviously not all Muslims, and the Bondi thing it displayed that in the most clear way. Not all Muslims are bad. My stepkids, I know they're annoying, but they're not that bad, right? Not all Muslims are bad. But being able to discuss the ideology, especially the parts of their ideology that is usually invoked to perpetrate these kind of violent acts, if we can't discuss it amongst ourselves and with their community, we're never, ever, we're never going to be able to overcome this problem. And they're not going to, like, for those Muslims that call themselves moderate, or, when you say moderate Muslim, it's people that it's Muslims that are willing to either ignore or brush off these parts that is uncomfortable for them. So if you can't confront it, then you're not going to be able to beat it within your own community. If you're a Muslim that believes, like, fine, you believe in, praying and like doing all the parts of the religion nobody cares about, a bit like Jews doing their cultural whatever, and Christian, like doing your, what is it in English, the word? The parts of the faith that nobody cares about, the parts minus the jihad, minus the parts about, wanting to kill the infidel. If you want to practice your cultural thing, then nobody has a problem with that. But what people want is you to be at the forefront of that fight in condemning, which uncomfortably is intrinsically connected to your faith, because that's where they're getting it from. But if you want to reform it, or you want to say, okay, that was kind of backwards. It's a really hard. I get why it's so difficult for so many in their community to grapple with, because it means you have to kind of reject, or not even kind of, you have to pretty much straight up reject parts of scripture, which plainly read this stuff that they're relying on. So it's easy to say that's not Islam, but the problem is when they're pointing to scripture, which in black and white kind of describes exactly what they're doing as the faith. So then we should be having an honest, frank discussion about these parts, and not just amongst ourselves. You in the Islamic community that feel like this is your faith and this is your identity, you need to be a part of that conversation and condemn it, but also don't just condemn and say that that's not Islam. Because that's just gaslighting when I can read it. When I can read what they're saying as to the reason why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah. No.
All right, I'm going to go get the present, and then we will do that. Benji, you watching? You must be really excited. All right, give me 2 seconds. I've got to go get it because I actually forgot to pull it in.
Yeah. Bring it in. So, guys, while Avi's gone, so we got Benji has given me and Avi both presents for Christmas, and he wanted us to open it on the podcast. I don't know what's in here, but my one has written on it, cut here. There's like, I can't really show you guys, but it's a creepy text on here. Look at that. Looks like a ransom letter. It says, cut here, present for Rukshan from Benji. And then he's written here in text, he's written open in the next podcast. So I don't have scissors, Benji. So I won't be able to cut it, but I'm gonna open it up. We'll just wait for Avi to come. So that's what we're doing. Avi's going to get his present. So as we wrap up the show today, guys, thanks for joining in for the Opposition Podcast. We will be opening Benji's present. He did specifically say there's something in here for me to read as well. So maybe in Avi's one, there's look how big big Avi's present is. I'm beginning to think Benji doesn't like brown people, Avi, because look how big your one is, and look at the small present that I've got. Benji's racist. I can't hear you, Avi.
Sorry. Let's read this quick super chat. Benji, by the way, tell me which one should we open first? Boys, thanks for the super chat, my guy. Boys, who's worse, the neo-Nazis or Antifa? You got to pick one and one only. I know both are bad, but you have to pick one. Who's worse? Right now, I think Antifa is worse only because they have the numbers, I would say, but they're. I can't say one is worse. They're the same thing. They're the same thing.
If I'm talking about those specific groups, those two specific groups specifically, I'm just talking about in that context. It's less likely for the Nazis to randomly beat you up compared to the left. They'll just randomly beat people up. But we saw that change, I guess, at the other protests. But usually they've been a lot more self-controlled. Whereas the lefties, I've always noticed they're kind of always ready for violence straight away. So that's probably the difference that I've noticed. So I would say Antifa still in Australia. That would be my pick.
Can Trump invade Australia and take Alba away? Listen, Curious Diaries. A lot of people are asking for that. Okay. What's it doing? Where am I? And Julian Carter says, thank you for the super chat. Says, did Benji also get Daniel a present? No, he didn't. I don't think so. Daniel? I'm going to tell Daniel. Daniel's going to beat him up. All right, he says to open your one first.
Who said open my one first?
Benji said.
Get the crappy present, so Benji.
There's instructions on yours.
I want to see if it's better than the present you got me last year, which was just...
it says open... Can you see that? Open during the podcast, Benji. He's so creepy.
Yeah, I know.
You're a creep, Benji. He actually came here and gave it to me. Like, he traveled and had his grandmother in the car. He had his grandmother in the car and he traveled on Christmas Eve with his grandmother in the car, bought it, and then told me to put it under the Christmas tree, but told me I can't open it until the podcast. And I'm like, bro, so why did you do it on Christmas Eve and drag your grandmother out? It went under my Christmas tree, and then I have a Christmas tree. Too bad. So I like celebrating it. You know, I take a.
I'm gonna get a tissue. I'm gonna get a tissue because he's like, Avi. I don't know if you want to see what he's given me.
Is it bad?
I hope our.
Is it kosher?
This perspective, yeah, I can show it on the screen. He's given me his freaking hair. He's recently had a haircut, the creep. He's given me. Benji's given me a lock of his hair.
I do not want to open this.
The hell?
Oh, yuck! The fuck? You better shower after you touch it. What?
His rat tail. He had a haircut recently. He's giving me his rat tail. What the hell?
He had long hair. Now he's got short hair. I don't want to open this.
Let me read my letter. This ain't it. He's written. This is his letter that he's put in there as well. This ain't it, Chief. Al's funny, yeah. Nah, for real. Though I'll send you the real present next week or two. Trust me, I would never lie. He's a scam artist. I don't think I'm going to get a present. He's actually given me his hair.
I don't want to open
this needs to be destroyed in some sort of facility.
I would burn it.
I don't even think I should put it in the public waste because it's a biohazard. this needs to be dealt with by some sort of authority because, yeah, this is Benji's real life hair that he's gotten cut off. He's put away for weeks in his bag, and now I'm opening it. So
This
I'm
better not be,
grossed out
Benji,
and
I
freaked
swear to
out.
God, if this is something as disgusting that, and that's been under my Christmas tree. And
I hope it's from his hands. I don't know if that's from somewhere else.
My kids have touched it, and if this is something gross, I'm going to get Daniel to go. Maybe Daniel's the only one that dodged the present. Oh, I'm so scared. I'm scared. It's jeans. It looks like jeans. Is it his jeans? I'm scared.
Ben's sending a very clear message here that he's done some voodoo magic on me.
What has he done?
Some
Oh, no, it actually looks new.
You got an actual present. I got his hair.
I think I got an actual present. Why did he get me jeans? Like, I appreciate it, but how did he know my size? How did he know my size? They're decent jeans, Benji.
Guys, if there's anyone out there that wants Benji's hair, we might auction it off, Avi.
I got jeans. I don't know about you. I'm good. Is there something wrong with this?
Guys.
Do you reckon there's something wrong with this?
He's making a clear point here that Avi he's obviously in some sort of romantic.
He sent me a text. He goes, "Your present is actually the good one."
Well, he's got to keep his job. That's why I don't employ him. So
thank you, Benji. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Sorry, I didn't get you anything, but I'm a Jew, and I only do Christmas one way as a Jew. I'm not allowed to buy you a present.
Benji, I actually came to your house for dinner, mate.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
I came to Benji's house for dinner. Avi refuses to go, guys, but I actually went to Benji's. I don't know what he made for me now after receiving the hair from him. I don't know what he made for me. I don't want to make any assumptions here and stereotypes, but I did go to Benji's house for dinner with my wife, and he did cook for us. But Avi refuses to go for now, and
I refuse to go. So I
took a bullet.
But Benji was like invited, and he's very nice, I think. But I don't know, probably the mushroom. What's her name? The mushroom lady,
Erin Patterson.
I'm sure that her victims thought she was being very nice. So I don't know. I'm not going to jump the gun here, but I've seen Benji eat, so I'm just unsure about his cooking. And he's been like telling me for years, and I said, "Oh, take Rukshan first. We'll test it on him." And Rukshan went. I refused. And look what Benji's Rukshan. Listen, can't be worse than the food you ate.
I was saying we should auction this off. Benji said auctioned off.
I have good genes.
On live stream hopefully there's some creep that does something creepier with it than Benji.
I have genes. I'm good.
Oh man.
Benji's the camera guy, guys. Benji's the camera guy. When you often hear weird comments during filming that make no sense, or some like Benji always laughs at the wild stuff. Benji, he's the camera guy. Look, I did pick him up at a protest where he defended me against Antifa. That's where I first met him in 2019, I think it was. He started working for me soon after, so it's been a long road, and his cameras and his equipment's gotten bigger and heavier over the time. Thank you, Benji. Let's just before we go, Justin says, would Labor dump Albo now rather than contest the next election and a possible Royal Commission findings?
I don't know. I don't think he's that unpopular yet within his own ranks. They're all a bit like him.
But they may throw him under the bus once the findings
before,
of a Royal Commission. Anyways, on that note, we had a bit more to go, but it's 9 o'clock and...
Oh, we got a message from Drew. I saw a message there.
That's all right. I think we wrap it up. I think we
wrap it up.
I don't want to start on that now. We were going to have Drew talk to us about his experience, but
we'll get him on the next one.
We'll get him on Thursday. We'll unpack that on Thursday. Just 'cause I feel like I don't want to get caught up in another hour now.
Bro,
So,
there's
guys,
like hair. There's hair all over my keyboard now. There's hair like all over my. I'm gonna have to get a vacuum and vacuum this.
that is so disgusting. Guys,
Yuck.
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. Sorry about the technical issues tonight. Hopefully that's not a sign of 2026. I hope that 2026 is more of Trump kidnapping the scum of the earth and holding him accountable in America, and more of Rukshan receiving dirty hair. God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America.